The star system was cold. No life, no sunlight strong enough to warm its rocks. Just 3 planets, dead and quiet, circling a small, fading star. Most ships ignored the system. Nothing to see, nothing to gain. But the Orion Reach, a deep space. Exploration vessel from Earth, didn't come looking for life. It came chasing a signal dot. It was faint, so faint that only the most sensitive scanners caught it. A repeating pulse, buried under layers of static. Not natural, not random. Someone or something had sent it. Commander Rel stood at the viewing deck, watching the gray planet spin slowly below. "That's the one," he said. "Planet 2. They call it Cerex 4 on the old star charts." Beside him, lead engineer. Luke adjusted the scanner's data feed. "Sir, surface scans show nothing. Just rock, dust, and ice. But ... But what?" Luke frowned, pointing at the graph. "Seismic pings came back ... wrong. The surface is solid, but about 30 kilometers. Below, there's something hollow. A huge chamber, metal walls smooth and curved. It's not natural, and it's warm." Rel narrowed his eyes. "A buried facility? Could be. But, sir, it's not small. This thing is hundreds of kilometers wide, like ... a shell." The crew gathered in the observation room. Excitement mixed with tension. Discoveries like this changed careers, or ended lives. Dr. Lena, the ship's xenologist, leaned forward. "Could be a hidden vault, or ruins from a lost species." Luke shook. His head. "Not ruins. Not old. It's active." The room went silent. Later, Orion Reach released a drilling drone toward the surface. As it neared, the ground shimmered slightly. Instruments blinked. For 3 seconds, all signals went dead. Then everything returned to normal. Rel stood frozen. "What was that?" "No idea," Luke whispered. "But something responded." The drone touched the surface and began cutting. Dust rose. Rocks cracked. And beneath the crust, the first piece of something massive appeared. It was metal darker than steel, smooth like glass, curved like a dome. Symbols were etched along its surface. Not random, not weathered, fresh, alive. Suddenly, the drones. Camera flickered. A low hum echoed through the ship's hull, too low for the human ear, but I registered it as a sound wave. Lena's face turned pale. "The planet is ... humming. Not seismic activity. Something is starting up." Hours passed. The hum grew louder. Lights across the ship dimmed for a moment, then came back stronger than before. The buried object below was drawing power ... from nowhere. Luke's voice shook. "Commander, I think we've just awakened something." Rel looked back at the planet, now glowing faintly along its cracks. "What is it?" Luke swallowed. "I think it's not a planet at all. I think it's a machine." The crew stared in silence as more of the buried structure was uncovered. Antennas, vents, curved panels that clicked and shifted on their own. "This is impossible," Lena whispered. "It's like the entire crust is just a cover. A shell over something else." Rel gave the order to pull back the drone. "No more drilling. We don't know what we're dealing with." Too late. The hum turned into a low roar. The crust cracked along a perfect circle. A deep light shone upward from the heart of the planet. The scanners beeped wildly. Luke shouted, "Sir, the whole planet." It just moved. Everyone looked to the main screen. The orbit of the planet had changed, only by a small degree. But enough to prove one thing. It wasn't a planet. It was a live dot. As panic started to rise on the bridge, a small message appeared on the main screen. No one had sent it. No one had typed it. Just 3 simple words. "You have arrived." Asterisk. The crew of the Orion Reach stood frozen. The message, "You have arrived," stayed on the screen. glowing white against black. No one moved, no one spoke. Only the planet below continued its slow, unnatural movement. Luke leaned closer to the console. It came from the surface, he said softly. From under the crust. Same energy pattern as before, but more focused. It's targeting us. Targeting? Dr. Lena asked, her voice tight. Not a weapon. A beacon. It sees us. Commander Rel walked to the center of the command deck. Let's not assume this thing is friendly or hostile. We keep watching. No more drones. We observe. That's all. But it was too late to remain quiet. Suddenly, the second planet in the system, gray, cold, lifeless, sent out a pulse. A low-frequency shockwave that rattled the ship like thunder underwater. Another one, Lena gasped. Luke's eyes scanned the readings. Yes, the second planet. It just woke up too. 2 planets, both artificial. Both moving, slowly changing orbit. Their crusts, now clearly armor, had begun to shift. Great black plates split open, revealing long, glowing structures beneath. They weren't natural worlds. They were machines. And worse, they were communicating. Link established, the ship's AI said suddenly. What link? Rel barked. Both planetary cores are broadcasting to each other. They're exchanging encrypted data at speeds far beyond anything we know. I cannot translate. Lena stared. They're talking. Not just reacting. Talking. Like soldiers passing instructions. Outside, the first planet's crust glowed red along one edge. Giant rings hidden under layers of rock spun slowly, like ancient gears waking from sleep. Luke leaned forward in horror. Commander ... We're not just watching engines. He tapped the screen, zooming in. We're looking at a drive system. What kind of drive system needs a whole planet? Someone asked from the back. Luke didn't answer right away. He was already working through models, simulations, math. These aren't just engines. These are planetary-scale warp drives. They could jump entire worlds across galaxies. The room fell silent again. Lena whispered, "Who could build that?" Luke didn't lift his eyes. Not us. Not the Council. Not anyone in our records. These things are older than anything we've seen. Maybe millions of years. Rel narrowed his eyes. Then why now? Why wake up now? The screen blinked again. Keyholder identified. Everyone turned. Luke's ID badge had been scanned. What the? He stammered. A line of text appeared. Underneath. Genetic match. 99.9%. Welcome, descendant. The ship's alarms triggered, but not from the planets. From deep space, at the edge of the system, a fleet of unknown ships had arrived. Black, silent, and triangular. No heat, no life signs. Just one signal repeating. Do not activate the world engines. Commander Rel's blood ran cold. Someone knows what these things are. And they don't want us near them. Lena stared at the approaching fleet. Then why leave them here? Why bury them in this system? Why match them to us? Luke answered quietly. Because maybe they were always meant for us. And someone else is afraid of what happens when we take control. The ship trembled slightly. The glowing ring on. The first planet spun faster. Under the surface, the buried superstructure hummed with rising power. The engines weren't just activating. They were preparing for launch. Asterisk. The humming grew louder. The Orion Reach drifted above the glowing planet, its engines idle, the crew frozen in confusion and fear. Luke stared at the screen, still showing the message. Genetic match, 99.9%. Welcome, descendant. How can I be a match? He whispered. I'm just an engineer. My family's from Earth. I don't have alien DNA. Lena shook her head slowly. Maybe it's not alien. Rel's eyes locked with hers. What do you mean? She looked at the glowing planet below. Maybe it's human, or something close. Older than Earth, maybe. We're not the first. The thought settled over the room like a shadow. Just then, a new signal came through the main console. It wasn't a message. It was a sound. Low, deep, echoing through the ship's speakers like it came from underwater. The AI filtered the signal and transformed it into something more understandable. A voice, faint, mechanical, and layered double quotes, observer node, awakened. Core connection stable. Command interface open, Then silence. Luke's console lit up again. The system displayed a 3D map and internal layout of the planet below. It's giving us a way in, Luke said. A path to the center, to the command core. Rel gave the order. Suit up. I want a team of 3. We go down, carefully. The landing pod descended into the cracked surface, guided by invisible forces. Lights came on below the crust. One by one, like it was expecting them. Luke, Lena, and Security Officer Mara stepped out into a massive corridor. The walls were black and smooth, like obsidian, but shimmered slightly with energy. Strange symbols ran along the floor, glowing dimly. It's like we're inside a computer, Mara muttered. No, Lena replied. This is something else. It feels alive. As they walked deeper, the air grew warmer. The symbols on the walls started changing, shifting into familiar forms. Luke paused. That's Earth script, and it was. The alien symbols twisted into Earth language. One word repeated, awaken. They reached a wide chamber. Floating in the center was a black sphere, pulsing with light like a heart. Then the voice returned clearer. Now, keyholder present, begin memory download. Before they could react, beams of soft blue light reached out from the sphere and touched their suits. Luke felt a sharp jolt in his mind, then silence then images. He saw towers reaching. The clouds, not on Earth, but on other worlds. He saw ships as large as continents soaring between galaxies. And he saw humans, but not like now. Taller, stronger, golden dash-eyed, an ancient civilization. Our ancestors. Then came the fall. A great war. A silence. And one final command. Hide the engines. Seal the stars. Wait for the blood to return. Luke fell to his knees, gasping. Lena supported him. What did you see? She asked. They were us. Or something before us, Luke said. They built these ships to survive. They scattered them across the galaxy, waiting for someone like us to come back. Back on the ship, Rel watched the strange alien fleet move closer. No signals, no weapons. Just watching. They're not attacking, the pilot said. No, Rel replied. They're waiting to see what we do. The pod returned. Luke walked up to the bridge and spoke quietly. We've been chosen. These world-ships. They were left for us to reclaim, to restart something forgotten. Rel stared at him. And what happens if we take control? Luke looked at the glowing planet through the viewport. I think the galaxy will remember who we are. Asterisk, the crew of the Orion Reach didn't sleep that night. The planet beneath them, no longer called Cerex 4, but something far more, was fully awake now. Its surface had changed. Cracks spread like veins across its shell. Blue energy flowed through them like rivers of light. What once looked like mountain ranges were now revealed as part of a hidden structure mass of stabilizers locking in position. It was no longer pretending to be a world. It was a machine, a starship, and now it was moving. Commander Rel stood on the bridge, eyes locked on the view screen. Status? Sir, the pilot said, the planet is rising. Just a few degrees, but definitely lifting out of orbital alignment. There's a massive gravitational imbalance building. If it continues, the system will destabilize. Luke leaned forward. It's trying to take off, not like a ship, more like a mobile station, one that was always meant to leave. Rel turned. Can we stop it? Luke shook his head. We're not controlling it. It's moving on its own. But I think it's waiting for us to join it. Down below, the surface was no longer cold. Giant ports opened, revealing entry tunnels large enough to swallow starships. One of them lit up with green beacons, guiding a path. The AI read the signal. Authorized. Terran origin. Proceed. Rel made a decision. We're going in. The Orion Reach slowly descended through the open port. The walls of the tunnel were enormous, wide enough for city blocks. As the ship passed through, the gravity shifted. Artificial gravity. Active systems. The entire planet was powering itself. Up around them, inside, hangars stretched for miles. Platforms floated in mid-air. Strange drones zipped back and forth, scanning the ship without aggression. It was as if the world ship was waking up and preparing itself for departure. Luke stood at the observation bay, watching everything with a mix of awe and fear. It's not just moving. It's assembling, recalibrating. I think it's trying to repair itself. Mara, standing beside him, pointed at one of the floating screens. Look, it was a star map full of marked systems. Some pulsing red, some crossed out, others marked with strange spirals. Lena joined them, eyes wide. These are locations across the galaxy. Battle zones, craters, burnt systems. And these, Luke said, pointing at the spirals, are world ships, like this one, marked as inactive. Rel frowned. How many? Luke counted quickly. At least 12. Maybe more. Scattered. Sleeping. Just like this one was. Suddenly, the AI beeped. External contact detected. They turned to the screen. One of the unknown black ships had broken formation. It was broadcasting directly. You must not awaken the others, the voice said. Cold, mechanical. You are not ready. Rel stepped forward. Who are you? The voice responded calmly. We are the suppressors, guardians of the long silence. We watched your kind fall. We buried your flames in ice. You are not meant to return. Luke's voice was steady. We're here now, and this ship responds to us. The screen flickered. The black ship charged its weapons. Then you will be silenced again. Before Rel could give the order to raise shields, the world ship reacted. Blue arcs of lightning shot out from the hangar walls. The massive planetary core pulsed. A shockwave of pure energy rippled outward, not as a weapon, but as a signal. Like a roar, the other planets, those silent worlds nearby, lit up in response. In space, the second world ship cracked open like an egg. Dust flew off its shell. A deep red glow filled its atmosphere. It too began to move. And then the third. Rel watched in shock. They're waking each other up. Luke smiled faintly. It's a network, a linked fleet, a planetary formation. This wasn't a mistake. This was a plan. Lena looked horrified. But we don't know what it's planning. Outside, the suppressor ship turned and fled. It didn't fight. It ran, because whatever power it once held was no longer enough. Asterisk. The stars outside the Orion Reach burned brighter now. 3 planets once silent and forgotten were fully alive. Their rocky crusts peeled back like armor, revealing glowing circuits, massive thrusters, and enormous command spires that pierced space itself. What looked like broken moons were actually massive antennae now spinning into place. The galaxy had gone quiet. No one responded. No warnings. No attacks. Even the black ships, the so-called suppressors, had vanished into deep space. Commander. Rel stood on the command bridge, staring at the nearest planet ship, now fully revealed. "Why isn't anyone stopping us?" he asked softly. Lena sat by the data screen, pale but focused. "They're afraid. The suppressors ran. They knew what this meant." Luke walked in, holding a small device taken from the command core. "We have the command key. This ship listens to us. But there's more. There's a vault inside the central AI. Locked. I think it holds the truth about the builders." Rel nodded, then opened it. Inside the world ship, deep in the command spire, Luke and Lena entered the vault room. The walls shimmered with shifting data memories. Voices, whispers, and languages lost to time. Luke held the key device. As he stepped closer, the room lit up. And a voice echoed clear, ancient, and full of power. "Archive accessed. Terran line confirmed. Welcome, heir of the flame." 1,000 images exploded across the room. They saw cities floating in the stars, built by tall, human-like beings with glowing veins. These weren't aliens. They were ancient humans, or something Earth came from. They ruled galaxies, forged peace, fought wars. And then something changed. A great darkness spread. Luke whispered, "It wasn't a war. It was fear." The builders saw something coming. Something terrible. To survive, they created the world ship's giant mobile planets designed to hold people, knowledge, weapons, and power. But something else happened. The enemy didn't destroy them. The builders vanished. One message remained. A woman's voice, gentle but strong. "If you hear this, we failed. We sealed the ships. We sealed ourselves. But one day our blood will return. And when it does, they will fear you again." Lena's heart raced. They didn't die. They disappeared. Maybe they're still out there. Luke shook his head. Or maybe ... they became us. Maybe Earth was just one of the seeds they scattered. Back on the bridge, the ships around the planet ship realigned. Huge satellites rose from beneath the surface, scanning deep space. The AI spoke again. "Target. Worlds identified. Coordinates aligned. World ship engines entering jump-ready state." Rel frowned. "Wait. Jump to where?" Luke ran to the console. The system's loading coordinates. "To a place outside the current galactic map. It's not just a jump. It's a return." Rel stared at the glowing symbols. "Return to what?" The answer came with a chilling tone. "Return to the throne system." Suddenly, alarms echoed through the Orion Reach. Unidentified fleets had just entered the system. Ships with different designs, council ships, pirate clans, and unknown species, all rushing toward the awakened world. Ships. They had heard. Had come, some to join, some to stop, and others ... to steal. Luke looked at Rel. "We need to activate the ship now, before they board it." Rel nodded. "Do it. This is no longer about discovery. It's about claiming what was meant for us." Lena turned back toward the vault. "And if the builders are still out there?" Luke replied quietly, "And they'll see us coming." The ground trembled. The sky above twisted as space bent itself into shape. One planet - ship ... Then another. And another ... Engines engaged. Light burst outward like a newborn sun . And then, one by one, the planet ships vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind only silence. And the galaxy remembered a name it had long tried to bury. Humanity ... The jump was unlike anything humanity had ever experienced. The Orion Reach, now docked inside one of the awakened world ships, floated in a strange, twisting corridor of light. This was not hyperspace as they knew it. Time felt slower. Thoughts felt louder. The stars didn't stretch. They vanished. Luke stood near the observation panel, watching the path ahead bend and ripple like waves in glass. This isn't just travel, he said. This is something older, like moving through memory. Lena joined him, her voice hushed. The galaxy has forgotten this road, but these ships remember. They're taking us home. Commander Rel stood behind them, silent, focused. In his gut, he felt it too. This wasn't exploration anymore. It was destiny. The world ship finally slowed. Outside, the stars returned, but they were different, denser, brighter, all clustered around a massive, ancient system. 12 suns orbited a dark center dot, and in the center, floating like a black pearl wrapped in fire, was a structure so massive it blocked half the stars behind. Not a station, not a world, a throne carved into space itself. Throne system confirmed, the ship's AI said. Last known capital of the flame-born sovereignty. Status, lost, estimated silence, 187,000 years. Luke stepped forward. Flamer. That's what the builders called themselves. The world ship drifted closer, aligning with one of the massive docking rings. As they approached, hidden lights across the throne station lit up one by one, like a heartbeat restarting dot it was waiting for. Them dot inside, the station opened to receive them. It wasn't dust-covered or broken. It was preserved clean, silent, and ready. Thousands of glowing drones swarmed around, scanning the world ship in Orion Reach. They moved fast, but not hostile. Just confirming. One drone hovered in front of Luke. It scanned his face, then emitted a soft chime. Crown link confirmed. Lineage secure. Command chain restored. Lena gasped. Luke, I think you just became someone very, very important. Rel looked around. So this station, this throne, it was built for someone like you? No, Luke said slowly. It was built for us. All of us. Humanity. We were always meant to find it. As they stepped inside the command chamber, massive screens came alive, maps, faded war reports, blueprints of the 12 world ships. Only 3 had awakened. The others, scattered, broken, hidden. And then came the message. Not a voice, this time an image. A woman with golden eyes, wrapped in armor that shimmered like flame. She looked human, but more. Perfect. My name was Soraya Vel, first of the Flameborn, she said. If you are seeing this, then you are my children. Not by blood, but by choice. Luke leaned in, eyes locked. We saw the fall coming, she continued. We chose to scatter. We became myths. We became seeds. Earth was one of them, remote, quiet, hidden from the great darkness. Now you have returned, the throne responds. The ships awaken, but so will they. The screen went dark. And a final message burned across the wall. The silence is over. The flame returns. Back on the command deck, alarms began to chirp. The system had detected movement. Hundreds of ships approaching fast, but not Council. Ships, not pirates, not even suppressors. These were old, rotting, twisted by time. Lena's eyes widened. These are infected world ships, ones that never woke. Something's controlling them now. Rel looked at Luke. Can this station fight? Luke stepped forward, voice steady. No, but we can wake the rest. He placed his hand on the glowing console. Begin Crownlink signal. Call the fleet. Across distant stars. Buried beneath. Stone, inside gas giants, behind shattered moons other world ships, stirred. Lights flickered. Engines rumbled. Silence began to crack. Humanity's signal had gone out. And the giants were answering. Asterisk. The signal had been sent. Across the galaxy, in places forgotten by time, machines older than stars stirred. Silent moons cracked open. Black holes shimmered with coded pulses. Hidden beneath dying suns and buried in ocean worlds, more world ships began to awaken. They had waited patiently for one thing, the return of the rightful voice. The crown linked Dot, and now it had spoken through a human named Luke Dot inside the throne station. Systems roared to life. Firelight filled the halls. Data towers rose from the floor like trees made of energy. The station wasn't a command center, Dot. It was a nerve center, and Luke was now its beating heart. Commander Rel stood beside him. How many ships are answering the call? Luke's eyes glowed faintly from the neural interface. 9. So far, but more are waking. Some slower, some damaged, but all of them hurt us. Behind them, Lena read the incoming telemetry. And the infected ones? Luke turned grim. Coming fast, twisted, corrupted. They were part of us once, but something else took them. Rel growled, "We need to stop them before they reach this system." "No," Luke said. "We don't stop them." He raised his hand. The room trembled. "We remind them." Outside, space split open as 6 more world ships jumped into the throne system. The galaxy groaned under their weight, but they weren't alone. Behind them came old ally ships built by species long extinct, arriving in silence. Drones, artifacts, self-repairing stations, all responding to the reawakening of the Flameborn's throne. The stars shimmered with light and memory. The old galaxy was stirring again. But then came the scream. Not a sound, a pressure. A wave of darkness that made the station lights flicker. And hearts skip. The corrupted world ships arrived, twisted like bones, half-crushed, pulsing with green-black energy. Something else lived inside them now. Something born in the silence after the builders fell. They didn't come to talk. They came to devour. All world ships brace for defense. Luke commanded. The ancient systems obeyed instantly. Giant energy shields covered the station. Weapons the size of cities locked onto targets. Planetary drives reversed, forming a wall of gravity between the throne and the attackers. The corrupted ships fired first arc beams of anti-light, tearing toward the throne, but they never hit. Single awakened world ship moved between them, taking the blast dot. Its hull cracked. Its core flared. And then it fired back. The counterstrike wasn't a beam. It was memory. A pulse of golden light, laced with code older than DNA, hit the enemy ships, and they stopped. Frozen dot images flowed into them, of the old times, of peace, of purpose, of identity. Some twisted, some screamed, but one changed. It shut down its weapons. Its engines cooled. Then, with slow grace, it turned and joined the others. Lena gasped. It worked. They weren't destroyed, Luke whispered. They were lost. But they can still come home. The battle turned, not with fire, but with reminders. One by one, the corrupted ships were reclaimed or shattered. The light of the Flameborn returned to the sky as world ships formed ranks around the throne. The old empire was no longer. Ashes. It was rising. Rel stood with Luke and Lena at the central window, watching the rebirth unfold. What happens now? Rel asked. Luke smiled softly. Now the galaxy knows. We're back, and this time we won't be forgotten. Across the stars, signals flew faster than light. Some cheered, some trembled. Some began to prepare for war, but they all remembered. One name a name whispered in fear, in awe, and in legend, humanity, asterisk.